Today's number is 76, as in 76%. That's the share of major organizations that now have a chief AI officer. Per a new IBM Institute for Business Value study of 2,000 chief executives across 33 countries, published just yesterday morning. 1 year ago, that number was 26%. Hang on to it. We'll come back to it here momentarily. Well, it's Tuesday. We're not even halfway there, but we'll get there eventually, I promise. If you opened Excel or PowerPoint yesterday morning, you used a different AI assistant than the one you used on Friday. You probably didn't even notice it. Microsoft didn't even announce it. As of yesterday, the brain behind Copilot inside your Office apps is now Anthropic's Claude by default. 3 days earlier, Microsoft also published a price tag for running AI agents at work, $15 a user per month. Meanwhile, in a federal courtroom in Oakland, the man who ran OpenAI before it had a CEO took the stand. The text his co-defendant sent him just 2 days before a trial, calling them the most hated men in America, well, that's now evidence. Friday was scoreboard day. Yesterday was all about the plumbing changing in the background. Today, we read what it all means. I'm Don Michalik, and this is your Morning Intelligence for Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. All right, here's what we've got today in today's preview. In the lead, we have two changes that Microsoft has made in just the last couple of days. A different AI brain inside Excel and PowerPoint, and a published price tag for running AI agents at work. In the rundown, Greg Brockman is on the stand in the Musk versus OpenAI trial, and the settlement text Musk sent him 2 days before the trial is now in evidence. Cloudflare and Stripe quietly shipped a protocol that lets AI agents buy domains, open accounts, and deploy websites with no human pressing confirm whatsoever. And ChatGPT ads are now appearing in paid tiers. In today's deep cut, the 76% number of the day paired with a fresh labor report that says the job market is splitting in two. And it tells you which side you should be on. And we close with the AI agent that will make you a 1 minute film just from a single sentence. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right. Yesterday morning, Microsoft flipped a setting in its admin center called, quote, Copilot and M365 apps with Anthropic models. As of yesterday, it is on by default for every tenant with a Microsoft 365 Copilot license. What does this mean? Well, when a Microsoft 365 Copilot user types a prompt inside Excel or PowerPoint, the response is now generated by Anthropic's Claude, not OpenAI's GPT models, unless your IT administrator explicitly turns it back off. Word support, well, that's coming this summer. Per Microsoft's own admin notice, Microsoft Tech Community, Eric 365, and MW Pro all confirmed the rollout was live as of yesterday. Most of us didn't even get the memo. I know I certainly didn't. Most IT teams did not even send one out. I've been told. I've talked to some people about this. But Claude and ChatGPT have different writing voices, different formula habits, different refusal patterns. So you might notice a little bit of a difference going into this morning's use. So the Excel summary that felt one way on Friday will start to feel maybe slightly different starting today. That's not your imagination. Nope, that's Anthropic's Claude on by default. In our second beat here, 3 days before that flip, Friday, May 1st, Microsoft made two new SKUs generally available. Microsoft 365 E7 branded the Frontier Suite, $99 per user per month. Bundles E5 plus Copilot plus a new product called Agent 365. On standalone, Agent 365 is $15 per user per month. And per Microsoft, Agent 365 is the management plane for AI agents inside your organization. IT teams can now provision, monitor, and govern agents the same way they govern user accounts. Microsoft's pitch here is that agents are becoming first class citizens in the workforce. Two pieces to carry away here: the model behind Copilot in your Office apps, well, that changed. And the price of running AI agents at work just got published, all earlier this week. So why does this matter? Well, if you use Excel or PowerPoint at work, the AI inside those apps just got basically a different brain. And for any manager listening, Agent 365 is the SKU that lets IT see every agent across every department for the very first time, as if they were monitoring and provisioning user accounts like they normally do. Shadow AI inside your org becomes auditable. The visibility for all that is $15 per user per month. Here's a question from today's opening. Microsoft Copilot has effectively been OpenAI inside your Office apps for as long as most of us can remember. As of yesterday, well, it's not. You didn't pick the new model. Your IT team probably didn't even pick it themselves. So if the brain behind your work tool can change in just a single admin setting with no announcement whatsoever, how do you decide whether you trust what comes out of it? That's no longer a hypothetical. That's something you actually have to check now. The bottom line here, Microsoft rewired Copilot in Excel and PowerPoint yesterday morning. Word is not that far behind. The brain is now Anthropic's. The agent layer just got a price tag, and those two changes just happened in a very short amount of time. Both land inside your workday today. All right, let's go ahead and get into today's rundown. Our first story, ABC7, Bloomberg, CNBC, and WAPO all had it earlier this week. Yesterday morning, Greg Brockman, OpenAI's president and the co-defendant in the Musk versus OpenAI trial, took the stand in Oakland federal court, opening week 2 of this trial. Over the weekend, a court filing was actually unsealed. 2 days before the trial began, Elon Musk texted Brockman to gauge interest in a settlement. When Brockman proposed both sides drop their claims and walk, Musk replied, quote, "By the end of this week, you and Sam will be the most hated men in America. If you insist, so be it." End quote. Judge Gonzalez Rogers denied OpenAI's late motion to introduce the text during Musk's own testimony, but it is now in the record officially. OpenAI's lawyers will use it during Brockman's cross examination to argue Musk's motive is competitive injury, not necessarily principle. Brockman's personal journals are also expected to enter evidence this week. Sam Altman, well, not until the week of May 11th. So what? Well, until the weekend, this trial read as a billionaire fighting on principle. And I'm sure we could all read between the lines here and see more of it than what it actually is. But this text definitely reframes it. It's also the story of a settlement that fell apart the day before the trial, and it turned rather punitive. If you have been ignoring this case because it sounded like just billionaire drama, let's be real about it, well, read one summary tonight. The product roadmap of the AI tools you use at work is now downstream of what comes out of this courtroom in Oakland, California. All right, our second story in the rundown. This one comes from Cloudflare's blog directly. Stripe also made an announcement. Crescendo AI's weekend roundup also had this as well. Late last week, the two companies jointly published a protocol that lets AI agents do something they could not do before. An AI agent can now create an account in Stripe, purchase a domain name, and deploy a working application autonomously. Stripe handles the payment authorization, Cloudflare handles identity and provisioning. The version at the dinner party, you can say, is your AI assistant just got a credit card in basically those simple terms. The framing in both companies' own posts here is actually rather interesting. The failure mode of the last 6 months has been agents that could plan and reason but couldn't transact because they hit a payment wall. Well, that has been engineered around because of this announcement. An agent can now go from "I need a website to test an idea" to a live deployed site with a build credit card with no human pressing confirm anywhere in sight. So what? Well, here's another question for you. If you handed a brand new intern your company credit card on their very first morning, what spending limit would you put on it before they actually got started? Your answer is probably some specific number. I know I would have one. Most companies have not set that number for their AI agents or their teams are starting to deploy those agents. The question to bring in your IT or finance lead this week is really the intern question. And does your agent setup actually have the limit configured yet? If not, well, it's time to start planning for that now. Our, our third story in the rundown, it's a quick one. It comes from the Boston Globe, who broke the price signal angle earlier this month. The information and Big Go Finance also had the full picture as well. OpenAI is expanding its ad program, free and paid Go users in the US. Go is the $8 a month plan. That has been seen as in their ChatGPT responses since February 9th. Click based pricing is now testing alongside those impressions. On a separate note, OpenAI executive Nick Turley publicly compared unlimited AI subscription to unlimited electricity. Okay. His quote, "It just doesn't make sense." Not Altman, Turley said this. The Boston Globe called it the clearest signal yet that price increases are coming across ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, and there's nothing we can do about it. So what? Well, ads are now showing up in a tier you pay for if you use ChatGPT. And the executive comparison is the real tell here. Your $20 a month ChatGPT Plus or Claude Pro is unlikely to say $20. If your team is budgeting assumes that price stays flat for the next 12 months, well, that assumption is the one to revisit before your next planning cycle. All right. If you're enjoying Morning Intelligence, do me a quick favor here. Go ahead and share this episode with at least one person today. One, that's all I'm asking. Text, email, LinkedIn DM, Slack message, team message, whatever makes the most sense to you. If you share it with them, you help the show grow, and I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, let's go ahead and get into today's deep cut. There are 3 data points that were published yesterday, and they all line up in a very particular way. First, IBM with Oxford Economics surveyed 2,000 chief executive officers across 33 countries. 76% of those organizations now have a chief AI officer. This time last year, just 26%. The org chart above you is changing and changing fast, and you may have already started to notice this. Then this, between now and 2028, those same CEOs are expected 29% of their employees to need reskilling for a different role entirely. Not upskilling, reskilling, a different job completely. Another 53% will need to upskill in the role they're already in. Okay. Second data point. This came out the same morning. A research group called Fortune Forward published an AI labor report. IBM, the same company in the CEO study, tripled its entry level hiring in just 2026 alone, these last couple months. While Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, and Oracle cut tens of thousands of mid level roles, Gusto's small business payroll data says this: small businesses expect to hire roughly 974,000 new graduates between April and September. Okay, that's the second data point. The third one is the aggregate. More than 113,000 US tech workers have been laid off in 2026 so far. 48% of those Q1 cuts are AI attributed, and 275,000 AI jobs sit unfilled. Per Invez, CNBC, Bazinga, and the Washington Post. You can look it up. Here's what those numbers add up to. It is not AI is killing all jobs. The middle of the org chart is being squeezed for sure. Financial analysts, mid-level project managers, mid-level software engineers, two ends are growing. Entry level at the smaller companies and outliers like IBM, well, those are growing on the other end. So why is this worth your time? Well, there's really 2 practical reasons in all of this. It's the small businesses and the outliers like IBM that are hiring at a very aggressive rate. Look there. If you're 38 and in a middle role, the data says you are the squeezed cohort. The next 2 years are when the org charts reset, which means the question to bring to your manager this week is not, am I safe? It's, am I the 29% who needs to reskill, the 53% who needs to upskill, or the 18% who are already good to go? The takeaway here is definitely this. The middle is being squeezed. All the data is pointing to that. Entry level is moving to smaller companies. Senior AI fluent talent is being paid more than ever before. Your job is to know which lane you're standing in because the standing still option is the one data point none of this supports. All right, some fun stuff before we sign off for today. Late Thursday, XAI quietly opened beta access to a new mode inside of Grok called Imagine Agent Mode. Grok.com/imagine. You can look it up. Paid subscribers get access to it. What does it do? Well, you give the agent a high level goal. Make a 1-minute film, generate a UGC product story across 5 SKUs, build a complete manga set, even. I don't know. The agent plans, generate edits, and stitches the result in an infinite canvas, keeping context across every step of the research from scratch like a regular prompt. XAI is positioning it as a creative studio competitor to Adobe Midjourney and, well, the now defunct Sora app. Per the decoder and testing catalog, hands-on reviewers are getting passable 1-minute shorts on the very first try. We're not talking Pixar quality here, but it's getting pretty darn close. Not nothing, but getting pretty darn close. Whatever you think AI can or can't do for you creatively, well, the answer is changing right in front of your eyes just this month alone. One run prompt this week on Grok if you have access to it and see what it puts out for you. The frame I'd give you for this is this: try the prompt you would have paid an agency 3 weeks and a few $1,000s for last year. See what it spits out for you. All right, for tomorrow, we have OpenAI's workspace agent free trial that expires at midnight. I'm sure there'll be some things that come from that. I'll keep an eye on X. I'll keep an eye across social media. I'll see what's going on and see what people have to say about it. And we'll make sure to have an early read on it if anything does change. Friday is the ChatGPT macOS certificate cutoff. So again, this is your last call to update your apps. And we're still watching for the White House executive order on federal AI use that has been in quote table read for the last 2 weeks. We'll see if anything changes for tomorrow's episode. And that's Morning Intelligence for Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. If you like what you heard, hit subscribe from wherever you're listening. Share it with that one friend who keeps asking you, hey, what's going on in the world of AI? You know who they are. I'm Tom McKaylick. Thank you so much for listening and have a great rest of your Tuesday.